Okay. Well, I talked about Gaspar Noé, another great French director, is Jacques Audiard. I mean, obviously they've got great French directors from the past. The Wages of Sin, that's a great film by, this is Renoir, I think, isn't it? Jean Renoir? No, that's not that one. But Jean Renoir is A Great Game, there's lots of great French films, obviously. But anyway, we're just talking about more recent ones. It's coming into my head, Jacques Audiard. I first saw his film, Read My Lips, which is just kind of a suspense film. Kind of a heist film, really. It's got Vincent Cassel and another actress who's deaf in the film. There's one scene I always remember that she's paid to babysit, and these kids are crying, and it's a little baby, and she just turns down her hearing aid, which I thought would be a very useful thing in some ways, if you could do that in real life for yourself. Anyway, so it's kind of a heist movie, and then he did The Beat That My Heart Skipped, and then a really great film I really love is Prophet, about this young French Moroccan or French Algerian guy who gets done up in jail, and he gets caught between the Arab contingent in the jail and the Corsican contingent. He ends up working for the Corsicans, I think. And the lead actor is really fantastic in that. He reminded me of Sid Vicious. He looks a bit like Sid Vicious. He's got the same likeable charisma that Sid Vicious had, because believe it or not, Sid Vicious does. I've met loads of women that fancy Sid Vicious, even though they know the fact that he was a heroin addict who supposedly murdered his girlfriend, although that's contested. I can't really see it, really. I mean, he doesn't seem like the type. Who knows, though? He did murder a cat, which is never a good sign. So this Prophet, I don't know why it's such a great film. I've noticed with my friend who would always talk about scenes from films, I can never remember anything from a film. As soon as I watch it, it seems to completely disappear from my mind, which is not the most effective attribute for somebody who's going to be reviewing films, but what can I do? But then again, I can remember certain scenes that he couldn't remember, so maybe it's just selective memory. Jacques Audiard is really enjoyable. They're accessible films. They're not particularly intellectual or anything, but they're very involving, and they're very of human nature. They're very insightful about human nature and human behaviour, and they're not boring. They're exciting, which is the most important thing in a movie, if you ask me, or any art form. Since when is boredom? What good does that do anybody, apart from the boring people that make it? Bore people into submission. So that's that guy. How long is this? That's the first time I saw Vincent Cassel, who's married to Monica Bellucci. He's a real cracker. And he's quite ugly looking, so there's hope for us yet, if you're a film actor, film star. He's a good actor though. He's got lots of charisma too. Other French directors. There was there was one movie called Romance. The Cinema of the Body I was discussing in the other podcast. There was some films made that always said that they were quite confrontational, and they were, here we go, 1999 film, Romance, French art house film, Catherine Breillat, and what's his name is in it, Rocco Siffredi, the porn actor. I think one of the first scenes you see his erect phallus covered in menstrual blood. which is just the kind of thing you want to see after a nice meal. And that first date movie. Yeah, it's kind of talks about just human sexuality quite openly and unashamedly. It's pretty heavy going. I mean, R rating, low home with celebrate. Yeah, anyway. There was that one, and then budget 2.7 million, box office 3.9 million. So $1 million in profit. That's all that counts. Romance. The poster is, you can tell it's retro because it's a woman's pelvic region with a hand, naked pelvic region with a hand covering the Mons Venus with all the pubic hair sticking out all over the place. So that's obviously from 1999 or 1984 because women don't seem to have hair there anymore. I don't know why. I don't mind it. Not if it's huge like a sporran or something, but or a large chipmunk stapled to them, to their pelvis. I don't know how many different words I can use for the same area. But, so there's that movie, and then there's a really terrible movie that was ridiculously over the top. And I always try to, it's called Ma Mère, and it comes from a novel. It means my mother. It comes from a novel of the same. It's a French, Austrian, Portuguese, Spanish 2004 film. And guess what? It's got Isabelle Huppert in it. It's about the incestuous relationship between a 17-year-old boy and his attractive, promiscuous 43-year-old mother. Yep. Film director Christophe Honor, who wrote the screenplay based on the controversial and posthumous 1966 novel of the same name by French author Georges Bataille. Honor shot the film on location on the island of Gran Canaria, Canary Island, Spain. Its dialogue is almost entirely in French with brief segments in Spanish, German and English. Now, the final scene of this film has the young son, 17-year-old son, breaking into where his mother's corpse is being stored in the morgue or crematorium or crypt or whatever it is, looking at her corpse and masturbating over it. And then the scene before that, his mother, Isabelle, and him, they find that she watches him masturbate or something like that, which brings her to such excitement that she has an orgasm and decides she can't get any happier, so she decides to slit her own throat or something. And that's how she ends up in the morgue. So once again, another great date movie. Let's see when it's to the plot. Yeah. Here we go. After an extended absence from the movie, Elaine returns home with Ray in tow because Elaine has found tired of her sexual adventures. Upon arriving, she finds her son and Hansi socializing in a bar near the villa. Helene and Pierre greet each other by chatting and gazing into each other's eyes like lovers while Hansi looks on jealously. Finally, Helene invites her son to sleep with her. He agrees. Great. Helene and Pierre go into the wine cellar of the house. They begin to act out their desires physically. Helene asks her son to cut her abdomen with a razor while he masturbates. And as he climaxes, she slits her own throat. The next scene is the paramedics carting away Helene's body. The son is allowed to say his goodbye before the cremation. He enters the room where she lies in state and masturbates, exclaiming that he does not want to die as he is carried out. Yeah, I was right. So I remember those scenes. Just or not to. Hey. So it was totally pretend load of crap as far as I remember, but hey, it's French, why not? You gotta do what you gotta do if you're French. And if that means masturbating over your mother's corpse, why not? Yeah. Which reminds me, I've always been very claustrophobic. I first found this out I'm not gonna tell this joke, I can't record this joke. No, it's too rude. I can't have a hard copy of this or digital copy of this floating around. It's a joke, it's probably the sickest joke ever written. You'll have to see me in person.